Hello guys, and welcome back to Untier Talk, where the answer to the title is yes, I have scheduled with Katut. Hey Jad, write that down. That's gonna be the title. I mean, I have to make it the title now because I made that the intro. Yeah, I know. Oh, and Happy New Year, I guess. This is gonna be post January 1st, right? Yeah, January 1st.
Yep, this is going to be post January 1st for people who are the British variety.
Yeah, it's still not New Year for me yet, but it's the New Year for Hajad. What's it like in 2019?
It's kind of dark and a lot of fireworks going off. So far, quite badly, but it should get better.
All right. Well, anyway, on to PU stuff. That was fascinating. So yeah. Circuit update didn't happen. Basically, what happened is, I think I'm okay to say this, Katut had holiday stuff, and that's totally understandable, and I knew it was a possibility that Circuit would have to go into the new year because, holiday stuff. The reason that this is shitty is because he told no one. He knew about it beforehand. He knew he wasn't going to be, he literally was not online for Saturday until Monday afternoon. He just was not around at all. He came on once to give me a couple details, but he knew about this beforehand. He knew it was going to be a problem. He just didn't tell anyone. And in any other tournament or any other round of this tournament, he'd be totally disqualified. But it's fucking Circuit, so just wait another week for the game. But yeah, we scheduled for, what did I say, 11, 10, I don't remember now. Let me check my nickname on Discord. Sunday, 10 a.m. EST. This Sunday, that's the 6th, I think. Same day as the Smogon exhibition draft. And that'll
hype for that as well.
Yeah, that'll happen then. We already gave our thoughts on what's gonna happen with this set. I don't think there's much more to go there. I still haven't even started prepping, to be honest. I should have. I meant to. But it's hard to know what to build against someone who's so good at counter teaming people. It's I don't know. Anyway, that's just the update. You know what else we updated? The viability rankings. That was the best I could do. Honestly, they're not even... I was yeah, we can totally talk about the update this time. There's not even a lot here, to be honest. We rejected quite a bit of stuff, and then a lot of the nominations are low ranks, so really most of what we did is just fixing A+.
Yeah, A+ needed fixing, and it's pretty much fixed now. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I like it. It's it's a better representation of what's dominant in the meta at the moment. I still feel like we could probably drop Kangaskhan, because even though it's really good, it's just not as present as everything else in the rank. But I'm not too bothered, and it does have weird diversity where subsets and pup sets and all attacker sets are all real good. So yeah, I'm particularly a fan of Kangaskhan, so I'd be against it dropping from A+. Yeah,
because it does everything.
I also know that's kind of your mon, so
yeah. I mean, it's one of them things where you can. I feel like it's underappreciated from a preparation standpoint. So any team that doesn't really have a Regirock or a Tangent or something will struggle versus a Kangaskhan that's played to any moderate success. So
yeah, and Tangle still loses to the subset. The subset's also pretty notable. Is honestly one of the best stall breakers right now. If not, I'm hard pressed to think of another mon that will practically guarantee a stall 6-0.
Yeah.
That might be a little over the top, but especially if you pair it with Healing Wish, Stall is really gonna struggle with
maybe Metang School, a max attack Metang. I'm pulling at strings here.
Curse Metang, I guess.
Yeah,
it's on Stall, so you can probably run Curse. Rest Talk Tangela. No, I guess Crow Quagsire.
Crozire. That's a fire set.
Crozire? Hell yeah.
Crozire.
Hell yeah, dude. Does anything even run Roar in this tier? Mudsdale. Rest Talk Roar Mudsdale. There you go. That's on the analysis. Rest Talk Mudsdale isn't that terrible. It's just there stopped being a reason for it when it started being able to run Stealth Rock.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fun, all this stuff. So what were we talking about again? We were talking about
we updated the viability rankings, and there's just not a ton. Like most of what we did is just A+. We bumped up Alolanegi and Pom Pom, and we dropped out Aggron and Girder and Regirock and Mudsdale. Because they're all just not quite at the top of the meta anymore. It's good. We can count for meta shifts and yeah. Plus, like I do feel like this is much more accurate. And if you don't like it, tier shifts are coming in less than a week, probably. Ideally, hopefully. So, yeah.
Yeah. Should be fun, regardless. Like it's an exciting time of the year.
Yeah, it is exciting because you know what else we got? In addition to the end of the current circuit, we got the first winter seasonal.
That's fun.
Of the 2019 PU circuit, starting early. We were going to wait. Ideally, if I played Gatot this weekend like I wanted to, we would have held off signups until January 1st, just to make it really like New Year, new circuit times. But there'd be no point in that anymore. So the signups went up on the 30th. Still 2018, but that's okay. And I highly recommend anyone check it out. It's a tournament you can totally enter just casually and have a lot of fun just playing PU. Like I feel like people get really intimidated by the mere fact that it is a tournament that people are trying to win, but it's very easy to join a tournament and then like that doesn't mean that there's any onus on you to do well. You can just it's a way to make yourself prep for think about a more serious match and have fun playing a game seriously, but then you can still just play it casually. Like as someone who's playing a lot of Smash Ultimate right now, people get like really intimidated by the idea of like a Smash tournament. But like you can go sign up for Smash tournament. No one's expecting you to beat like any top player there, but you can have fun like playing a really serious game of Smash and then go back to playing casually and no one cares. Like just because it's a tournament doesn't mean it's a big serious deal, and people are nice, and I would always recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that I've learned a lot from playing PU on a more competitive level is just generally how to team build. I feel like that's a difficulty people tend to have just in general in terms of like Pokemon is the asset, I guess you can say, that is team building, because just people in general will always tend to struggle with team building because that's the aspect where games are won and lost consistently. Like people will win games, people will always lose games based on their how good or bad their matchups are. So I'd very much so recommend joining seasonals. Maybe not if you want to win, because like at the end of the day, it's a toss up. Like if you get who do you think is the best PU player? Like get Tasker round one. The likelihood is you're not going to win that game, but if you make a deep run, you gain some confidence. You can easily get a scalp, and that will help you get recognized, especially in like the landscape that is the competitive Pokemon community.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's just it's especially so low pressure. Like, for me, joining seasonals, like, if I lose to random ass dude, then I look silly. But if you're Mr. Random ass dude, then there's literally no pressure on you at all. So you get to have fun playing tournament, and then if you do win, it's great. I mean, that's in literally any competitive game. It's always slanted. It's always going to be slanted in favor towards the people who are not known, because you can either make an upset and be awesome, or you lose as expected, and it's no big deal. So
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's just the basic. Like, obviously, we're gonna say go sign up for the tournament, and I think we've talked about how good signing up for tournaments is before, so it's nothing too crazy. But you know what? If you like the PU and you listen to this podcast and you don't sign up, then I just don't get it, man. Leave a comment if you're one of those people and you're not going to sign up, explaining why. Unless it's just because you're too busy and you can't schedule with people, which I guess. That two times the tap doesn't play tournaments because he says like he just can't schedule with people, and like I guess. He's actually a real life human person. He's not like us. We're just internet people who play Pokemon. He's actually like a dude with a job, so that's fair. We're not real. People think we're real humans. I don't know.
I don't understand those people. You know what I'm saying? Real humans, really? What is this?
You know what I just realized? We're like, there's nothing to talk about except the VR. We could talk about the whole Eggy thing. I don't.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
I think it's been blown way out of proportion because there's a good chance Eggy might leave in tier shifts, and even if it doesn't, tier shifts look like they'll totally change how everything is working, so we won't even need to care about Eggy. But you know what? Just go ahead and give your thought, because just keep in mind, Eggy's really not a big deal, and if you think Eggy's a big deal, then you're silly.
Yeah. Would you want to give your thoughts first, or do you want me to give?
Nah, you go ahead.
So yeah, I'm actually quite. I like Queggy is that even a thing? Eggy quite heavily on my styles of teams, mainly because how I usually tend to build is quite weak to your hard offenses, your 6 CB mons type of offenses, that type of stuff. And Eggy tends to run through that style of team extremely easily. So yeah, it really punishes hard offenses, and it really punishes... I should explain that this is the Trick Room set we're talking about. It really punishes that style of team, and I don't think that set in its own is broken or uncompetitive in any way. I think there are outs to have against that type of stuff, mainly because on hard offense... If an Eggy Trick Room's up, it's not attacking, so it's not doing damage to a team that has no defensive core. And I think that fundamentally is an issue when you could be on the receiving end of any attack, basically. Mm-hmm. So I think that set and on its own is balanced. I also think the other set, which is also getting traction, which is the Spec set, is also balanced, and by virtue of the fact that it's a slow wall breaker and we have tons of those as it is. So the opportunity cost of using a wall breaker Eggy or a Specs Eggy is actually quite low. Like we have Specs Jellicent, we have CB Aggron, we have Stoutland, we have loads of other stuff that we can use to just pick apart certain types of balanced teams. And Eggy is just another option that you have. So that in itself as well, I don't think it's an issue. I do think that the issue more so lies in the difference between the two sets. How can you tell that an Eggy is Trick Room, or how do you tell that it's Specs? Because how you play against each set is extremely different. With Specs, for example, you're trying to pivot around the Draco versus the other stab versus Flamethrower, whereas with the Trick Room set, you just want to do damage to it at any cost, whether it's sit in a toxic, land a toxic, or hit it with your stab move. Whatever you can do in terms of damage is like really important for it, because it will enable you to get damage easier on down the line and get that revenge kill quicker. So I feel like if you have, for example, if you're in a 1v1 versus a Mudsdale and there's an Eggy on the other side, how you play that 1v1, if you know the set, whereas if you don't know the set, is difficult. Because if you stay in and the Eggy Leaf Storms you or Giga Drains you and it dies, you look like an idiot. But if it Trick Rooms and you toxic it on the Trick Room, that is incredible. Like, that Eggy is not going to be doing too much work because it's under so much pressure.
It's just going to a point.
Something. Yeah, it's got so much pressure to do under that Trick Room stuff. But yeah, so it's just like the 50-50 between the Trick Room set and the Spec set, which is the almost the only, like, I don't know, the weird part about it. I'm one that thinks that the it's just not broken. I don't think it's like that influencing on the meta, although I can see how its impact on hyper offense styles of teams is a bit iffy. But I mean, at that point, you're going to be running some type of check to it anyway, whether it be like an Abomasnow or an Assault Vest user that can tank that Dragzy Draco. So
yeah, okay. So I think your points basically come across, and I'd like to just point out we're great podcasters because instead of having a discussion, we just let each other go on rants.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't really think anyone's claiming Eggy is straight up broken. The question is more like, how unhealthy is it to basically just like eat offense? And it's true. Being a primarily offense player, pregnant for Eggy feels really stupid and dumb because it's a really good Pokemon right now. Like I posted in the VR in discussion points, I genuinely thinking about drop Jellicent at S and put Eggy up there, but is it really uncompetitive? I wouldn't say that at the current time. Offense really cannot prep for Eggy that well, but I'm managing it just enough to not feel too silly. Full out hyper offense is also not very good in PU for a number of other reasons that don't include Eggy, and ultimately, like, it's Jad, you got to back off your mic. It's coming through real bad. Ultimately, I think it's good to encourage this. I encourage this kind of discussion. I think this kind of discussion is very healthy for a tier. But at the same time, PU people can be a little hyperbolic. It doesn't help that like the two main people who are posting about it in the NP thread like do not understand PU as much as maybe they could. Shout out, Eggy can run Sludge Bomb for Meryl.
What?
You didn't see Yoshizilla when he posted about Alolan Exeggutor in the NP thread. He was like, Exeggutor can run coverage moves like Sludge Bomb for Meryl and Togetic, and it's not important. Anyway, the point only was with that like people can be hyperbolic about how much this means. This just means we should look at Eggy. We should consider thinking about Eggy. That's all. I can't see an Eggy suspect at this point. Obviously, nothing was ever going to happen until tier shifts. And after tier shifts, it looks likely that Eggy will be less silly. Okay. Projected tier shifts include Frostlass leaving, which is like kind of good for Eggy, but at the same time, like reduced spikes pressure helps teams maybe think a little more about checking Eggy. Ferroseed pops in, which is like a Fatmon that Eggy can break through nicely, but it also is another pivot into specs, and it runs Protect to stall out Trick Room, so it's not like the worst. It doesn't really facilitate Eggy that much, and then it looks like we might be getting some really stupid strong stuff from NU like Houndoom, Chinchino, Minior, that would all give Eggy competition as like being real strong, scary things. So yeah. It's worth keeping Eggy in the back of our minds, but it's always worth looking at metagame balance. Eggy is not the only thing I've thought about. I've always balanced the idea of, hey, in the future, should we maybe consider suspecting something like Stoutland or Lilligant or Jellicent or Lycanroc, and none of these, or Aurorus and Dodrio, and none of these have ever gone anywhere, because ultimately they didn't need to go anywhere. I don't think any of those Pokemon were suspect worthy, but nor do I think everything we consider means that it's going to get suspected. I don't think every suspect means we need to ban it. So there's nothing wrong with thinking about things. And people come into the chat so much are like, oh, what is you guys' plan for handling Houndoom? How quickly are you guys going to get rid of it? I want to use it. And it's like, dude, we're going to look at things and then we're going to deal with it appropriately. If it's worth quick banning, we'll quick ban it. If it's not worth quick banning, we'll suspect. If it's not worth suspecting, we just won't do anything at all. But like, you gotta just look at the meta and not be a dumb person. Eggy's just something to think about. That's all. I'd
say the key thing with Eggy is more so along the lines of it's sort of like it's one of them ones where how balance is sort of playing out, or Stall, where we have Ursaring, and SDLO Eradicate, things that don't really exist but really exist to punish balance. If you were to go out and just screw with Stall's balance hyper fat teams, essentially we can call them, you could go out and use Ursaring as much as you want, right? But if you wanted to go out and mess in a very similar way to a hyper offense style of team, there should be options, and there are options to do so. And there always has been stuff like Nasty Block, not Nasty Block, Trick Room, Beheeyem, OTR, Mashana, other stuff which can, mess with hyper offense in a really bad way. Not just Eggy. Eggy comes to the forefront because I feel like that side of the metagame has sort of gone underlooked, mainly because, as you said, hyper offense doesn't really exist too much. So people just tend to either straight up lose to it because their team doesn't fare well versus that pressure, or it just loses because hyper offense sucks. So I feel like Eggy is just a good mod. We don't really need to be hyperbolic, as you said, in terms of like, oh, we should look at considering suspecting it now. No, it's been here for a while, and we've obviously, we've played loads of games in PU where, both sets have existed, and clearly now it's in a favorable position in the metagame. But it doesn't mean that we have to go all out and say, oh no, ban it now, suspect now. We can just wait for a bit. It's chill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no problem with waiting. And with that, I think we've waited long enough to bring it to everyone's favorite segment, the Jed's Gimmick Corner. Jed.
Oh, lovely.
You got your gimmick? I know it's New Year's and you haven't really had time to prep for the podcast, so if you got to go look, that's pretty understandable.
Yeah, I'm having a look now. I see a couple of things already, but actually, I did something with my tutty earlier this week in terms of a team building exercise. So I was talking to him about team building with an offensive purpose, and how important it is in PU to have a strategy coming into a game in order for how to take on like fatter styles of teams, because teams with fat styles of teams, they're not going to lose to any individual threat. So if you throw an Articuno at a fat style of team, they're going to brush it off. They'll say, oh, I have an Alola Slash, or I'll have a Togedemaru there, and I'll be able to deal with the Articuno in theory.
Yeah.
In the same way that if he wants to throw a Stoutland at a fat team, people say, oh, look, I have this Tangela, I have this Regirock. I won't have an issue with it. So something that I stressed to my tutty was that to have a purpose that even if they have that initial check, that you have a way of getting around it and therefore winning the game no matter what that matchup is.
Right.
Even that slight disadvantage. So we were talking about different styles, different spams of teams, lures plus sweepers, cores, that type of stuff. So we eventually decided to build a rock spam style of team. And we had the idea of Kabutops winning the game because it can also provide that Rapid Spin support. And a lure set that we used to complement it was Hone Claws, Rock Polish, Watery MZ, Aggron, which is quite a fun set because
you
can use it to set up on like Togedemaru's, and you just bop the shit out of any Mudsdale that comes in. You click Water Z and it just dies. Get rid of it immediately. And it does that to basically every other rock resist that ever existed in this current metagame. Obviously, a struggle with like Ferroseed, but that doesn't exist.
Quagsire?
Quagsire? I don't believe Quagsire does too much. Well, I don't think Quagsire lives Aquatail plus Z Aquatail. I don't believe.
I'm pretty sure I calced Z Aquatail like earlier this morning on something unrelated, and I'm fairly certain Quagsire lives Aquatail plus Z Aquatail. Let me see.
Let's have a check.
Aquatail. I got it. And
oh shit! That does nothing.
It does nothing. Look, Z Aquatail does a max of 44 and a min of no, I'm sorry. It goes from 37.8 to 44.6. So let's charitably say 45%. Regular Aquatail does 19.5 to 23. That's not killing after rocks. That's not killing after rocks and a spike. Especially if it's lefty squag and not the helmet. So, I don't know. The thing to me, like, I would rather, if you're going to run Lure Aggron, I would genuinely consider Solar Beam, because Quagsire is common. And,
but then you don't hit Mudsdale. But you don't hit Mudsdale as hard.
You do a lot to Mudsdale.
Especially with the tech.
No, look, Z...
does a lot to Mudsdale.
Look, Z Solar Beam versus a Mudsdale. Oh, okay. The thing is, like... The calc still shows like 152 careful Mudsdale, because that used to be the thing for, Z Focus Blast Mudsdale. If it's a 0-0 Mudsdale, with no investment, you're doing about 55, which for me after rocks and head smash, that's really all you need. Especially since there's a good chance they're just gonna rock on you, expecting you to switch out. And the bigger thing is that you take out Quackshot. I just don't love the idea of being both lure and rock polish. I feel like you could be working on one or the other.
Yeah, I feel like the idea was if, for example, you need to sack Kabutops to say knock off the Tangela, you can then home crawls and then rock polish up and then potentially win the game that way. But that was the main idea behind the team. This team in particular had an Articuno and a Clefairy, so it didn't really I didn't struggle with Quagsire in particular. So, but yeah, that was the premise really, and it's something that I see a mistake being made in PU quite heavily, is that people tend to say, okay, I need to check these X mons, okay, I'll slap this mon together, and then they'll keep adding onto the glue essentially until they have a team of tanks and glues and no offensive pressure whatsoever. And then eventually what ends up happening is that they lose the game and they're like, oh, why did I lose? I had checks for all the other guy's team, but I ended up losing. The reality is that you have to be doing damage. You have to be working on your own strategy, your own plan throughout the course of a match in order to win. And yeah, that's something that I've been seeing made a mistake quite often, especially with new players.
Yeah. So with that, I think that wraps up another wonderful, lovely, super popular episode of everyone's favorite podcast, Untier Talk. Next week, we'll have circuit finals, in-depth analysis, and exhibition draft. I guess we're going to have to talk about that, too. Oh, well, we might even have Katut. I haven't actually asked him yet. I asked him, and then that was before he left for a while, and now I'm mad at him, so maybe we won't. Anyway, thank you all for listening. It's been a lovely 2018 with you. It'll be a lovelier 2019. I don't know. It's just a fucking new year. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. New Year's is a lie. The Earth is flat.
New year, new me.
New year, new me, flat Earth. All right. See y'all next time.